Alrighty, so welcome back to Three of Swords. We're going to wrap up the Secrets of the Obscure story. We're going to do that right now. Where we left off, we were able to get our hands on Eparch's Queen. Unfortunately, that negotiation process didn't go well, and she basically offed herself and left us kind of at a disadvantage, right? So when this release starts, this being like the final DLC of Secrets of the Obscure, we actually get like a little the ridiculous like transponder communicator thing that I guess is like on our back or whatever. Let's see, does it? I don't see anything there, but okay. We got some sort of communicator there, and it just makes voices come out of our back. And Ramses called us and was like, "Hey, people aren't getting along. There's some sort of argument." I didn't even catch that on video because I didn't even remember that it did that. Quite frankly, I don't care that much. But yeah, so that's the setup as we enter this. Let's find out why people aren't getting along and what's going on here because we have a lot of ground to cover if we're gonna do this successfully. What's going on here, folks?
We have to wait for reinforcements. It's the only way. Every hour, more of my soldiers die. Do you think his turrets simply stop while we wait?
Enough! Calm yourselves.
Ooh, sassy.
What's the situation here?
Galrath went back to Tyria to report to Iskarin. We don't know what he'll recommend.
But if he does support sending the full Astral Ward, we would be fools to attack without them. We would be fools to wait here for reinforcements that may never come. Have you been up there? We are stretched across dozens of positions, barely able to hold them. How long until the front collapses? Must we all be dead before we're allowed to strike?
That's enough, both of you. You are generals. Show each other some respect, at least.
Good. Perhaps you can help me here.
I understand your desire for reinforcements, but I will not be beholden to Iskarin's whims. But neither do I offer you a pointless sacrifice. I have watched the battlefield for weeks now. We have been overstretched and vulnerable the entire time.
Apologies, my lady. We will restructure our defenses to get
Home, Ramses. I mean no reproach. But if Eparch's forces could have shattered our defenses at any moment, why are we still here?
Are you suggesting Eparch's army isn't as strong as it appears?
impossible. I know you sensed, as I have, the souls of the thousands of soldiers stationed in Zakiros. I wish to strike as you do, my lady, but we should not underestimate our foe. If we move now, and you're wrong,
Then my head will be the first to fall. I ask nothing more of you than I offer of myself.
What's next then?
We're conducting a lot of shaping operations out there right now, and I'm sure the troops could use your help. Battles are raging across Nyos. If we can free up our troops from those conflicts, we can improve our odds.
I will remain here to craft our battle plan. Frode, perhaps you can offer your insight on that matter.
When the hour comes, Wayfinder, I will call on you. I wouldn't want you to miss out on all the fun.
All right. Before I talk to Ramses in Arena here, let's point out this was the very first thing of this DLC. And what she just described, these shaping operations, and I'll call on you, that's the green bar. And that one really felt bad. Hey, here's your new content. Go fill a green bar. Like, they relied on it too heavily throughout Secrets of the Obscure, and nowhere was it, like, more in your face than this one. Alright, Ramses, how do you feel about the plan of filling the green bar?
How do you feel about this plan?
It gives me some pause, I must say. I had hoped for more compatriots to join us before we assault the final bastion. But Peitha is right. If Epoch's army was as strong as it appeared, how has he not crushed us yet? We have a saying here. If your horns are in, your head is also. My life has been at risk from the first battle cry. There's no retreating at this point.
By the way, if you want a little military insight here, losing is not the only way to identify the enemy's strength. Just gonna throw that out there. Tensions are certainly high right now. Everyone seems on edge.
Tensions are certainly high right now.
It is inevitable. The fate of our world is at stake, and the lives of our soldiers as well. Frode and the General may argue about their methods, but their goals are aligned. I am glad you are here. Your presence as a way of reminding people what they are truly fighting for. Do not demur from this. You are as vital to our chances as anyone else. I thank you for that.
Alright, so that's the right thing to say to the main character, I guess. You know, in a video game, in an RPG, like, hey, you are the hero, don't forget that. It's just ridiculous because, you know, in Secrets of the Obscure, because we're alien to this. It's like being on an alien planet. We don't remind anyone of anything except that we're the alien. That's the only thing we remind people of. Like, to suggest otherwise is, like, kind of silly, right? Like I guess if you perceive this as this war has been raging for 9 months now, or 6 months, I guess it'd be 6 months since the first release that brought us into Nios, then I guess maybe you can buy in on that a little bit, but it still doesn't come off the same as, you know, specifically because the kryptis are so different than us. Almost time now. Yeah, is Isgaran going to help us?
Is Isgaran going to help us?
I really don't know. I wish I did, but he operates on a different level than I do. It would make a big difference to have him here. We need every powerful ally we can get. But truthfully, I agree with Nephis. We're losing good soldiers trying to hold these lines. We need to strike while we still can.
Okay. Are the troops ready?
Are the troops prepared?
As prepared as they're gonna get. I'd love more time to work with them, but it's a luxury we can't afford. We'll find out how good a job we've done when the battle begins. And that's always the decider.
Okay, fair. Alright. Well, now it's time for the green bar. Look at that. Complete any events or adventure in Inner Naos. So in this case, unlike one of the earlier bars, which was a source of, like, quite frankly, like, quite a bit of frustration and annoyance, any events in Inner Naos should work for this bar. Skirmish events and adventures count for more progress. So that's what we'll do. We'll do some of these little adventures and whatnot. And when I fill the green bar, I'll be back. How does that sound? Sounds good, right? I can't get to that one. All right. We'll be back when the green bar's full.
It's time for this. We gather at the camp to discuss our strategies.
All right, so we finished our green bar. Great. So really, that was that's the bulk of that release. DLC's almost done. Nah, it's not quite that bad. It feels that bad though, but truthfully, it's not. So we got some stuff ahead of us. A couple story instances at least. So let's go check that out now that the green bar's done. I don't remember if there's a second green bar this release or not. It just totally wouldn't surprise me. But at the same time, I tend to get them all mixed up because there's a lot of them and they happen in relatively close sequence, one after another. So I don't remember if there's one more or not. We will see. In the meantime, Patha, I have killed almost all of Eparch's army single-handedly now over the course of multiple green bars.
There are 3 towers in Zakharos, and all must be taken if we are to win the day.
We're going to have to split our forces between them. We try to take them one at a time, the defenses will shred us.
What do you need me to do?
You will join me as I infiltrate the spider's lair.
Of course, that assumes.
My lady, please. I am hurt and beg a favor of you.
Oh. Alright. let's see what this is about.
To the false king.
So to be honest, when I first experienced that, quite enjoyed it. Actually, I thought that was like a fun ambush, and I appreciated what they did there. Now, the umpteenth time, I don't know, maybe it's not like quite as much fun, but yeah, definitely like the first time I saw that, I thought, oh, that was cool. Like that's a fun thing. And there is an achievement for keeping, which I'm probably not going to get. With Necro, I can easily get the achievement. But for keeping Patha above 90% it is, I believe, throughout this sequence, then that'll land you a particular achievement. I don't remember what it's called. I'm sure it has some kind of witty, clever name. But with this particular tune, and like I'm not the world's best ranger, regardless of which elite spec I'm playing. So truthfully, she's probably gonna fall below 90%. Probably won't be by much. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 88% when all's said and done here. But yep. Anyway, if you're big into achievements, there you go. Something to keep in mind. So what is she at now? 95. Ooh, yeah, I'm struggling. Not gonna get it. I suppose if that was like, if your priority was to get the achievement, then the goal would be to keep to shadow her and keep switching around to you know, whatever foes happen to be close to her, I guess. But when I'm on Reaper, they all die so fast. It's like irrelevant. She ends up at like 90, 98, 99%. I feel pretty good about it. 95 still.
Majesty, behind me. Protect Patha.
Yes. Protect Patha. I got that. We've mentioned that a few times.
Feel the fury.
Why are we all fighting like behind this pillar back here? It's like a weird place for the fight to take place. Oh, look at this. Whole bunch more people out here, though.
They'll have to hit much harder.
Oh no! Last time this happened, we ended up suspended in midair. 93. Ooh, it's gonna be close. It's not gonna be close.
Strength, I'll break you down.
What's Patha doing way over here? Ah, getting that health driven down. 91. Good job, Patha. Way to come over here all by yourself. Good thinking.
Set him up for the kill. Wither.
This stuff must be super trivial with like 3 people or something. Because as far as I know, they don't really, for 1 to 3 people, like there's no scaling for that difference, to the best of my knowledge. Now, I could be wrong, but that's my understanding at least.
You sick? Pounded into dust.
Oh, look at that. Unlikely. Alright.
But hopelessly outnumbered. Indeed. They hope to silence Her Majesty at the cost of their lives.
Super awkward laugh.
smell it on their remains too, don't you, Ramses? Not hatred or fury, nor zeal, nor fervor. Something sweeter.
Fear.
Prepare the soldiers to move. Zakiros awaits.
Zakiros being the name of the fortress in which Eparch is hiding. So, there we go. On our way. I do find that, why does it start us all the way back here? By the way, like, that drives me crazy every time. That took place right here.
Keep at it.
The next story is right here. Oh, they're in the middle of the meta again. That's kind of funny. And then it puts us here to, you know, at the end of the instance. Like, why? I know why. It's because they want you to play through the metas at this point in the story to make this last instance make sense, which we're not going to do because they're not fun. They fail regularly. Like, there's no, for the purposes of this video, it makes no sense. But the next thing that happens in the story is, like, the entire Pathos' entire army attacks, like, the Citadel. We can see right now they're not on that meta. They're on the meta that precedes that, which is the you know, the big wyvern. This does not usually fail. When I say they fail regularly, I'm not talking about this one. This one does not regularly fail. Hey, get back up. Get back up. And enter. So the one that fails regularly is the attack on Eparch, the attack on Zakiros. So really, where we're starting now, this right here, with this glowy little portal, is with that assault completed, we are now in the heart of, like, the citadel of Zakiros or whatever that's over here. We've fought our way through all the defenses, and in fact, we've defeated already Eparch's, like, most, like his giant scorpion-looking form, and now we're pursuing him deeper into pursue Eparch. Pursuing him deeper into his castle.
He suffered a defeat. He's vulnerable. But if he retreats to his throne, an army between us, with time on his side, with so few of us left to fight, you feel Eparch's multitudes waiting ahead as I do, General. They overwhelm the senses. This chance will never come again, slight as it may be. We must strike.
Indeed, we must. Dag the Frode Arena. Take the portal. Rally any who stand to cover our flanks.
Patha.
Majesty.
Respectfully, I've walked the path with you this far. I'm not stopping here.
Very well. Dagda, Frode. Should we fail, I ask that you give asylum to my people.
The Wayfinder and the Outrider fight with you. You won't fail.
So earlier I talked about the frustration associated with the map completion thing. One of the things that made that worse, that exacerbated that for the players who thought that map completion was a thing that was going to reward them.
Eparch moves swiftly when provoked. His forces must be at the ready. Yet I sense they do not attack. Why? Do not forget, he stayed his hand upon witnessing Labrys's sacrifice. If ever there was a time for him to act without thought, that was it.
Yes, we fight on Eparch's turf. He is ancient and cunning. There can be no doubt he is prepared.
The enemy lurks. Be on your guard.
Alright, I'm on my guard. So to finish my thought, one of the things that was, like, even more insulting about the map completion thing was that this story instance is required for several of these POIs that are you know, hidden in this castle. during the open world event, you don't actually access all of them. So I got smart to it after one map completion. Thank heavens, like I wasn't stupid enough to keep doing them when I didn't understand why I wasn't getting credit. But yeah, for one map, for one map completion, I went through this instance like just to get, because I had done the story on a different tune and then completed the map on another one. And that's my own fault, but I did a story instance to get the POIs only to discover that there was truly no reason for that. The entire experience was really frustrating, and just there's no way that wasn't predictable, for ArenaNet. Like, it absolutely had to be something that they could see was coming, and were willing to accept that, willing to take that chance, whatever, however you want to phrase that, in spite of the frustrations associated with that for players. Again, to emphasize, it was not clear to players in advance that there was no map completion outside of the lanterns. Everybody knew that the lanterns contributed to map completion. It was the same in End of Dragons, like an entire previous expansion it had that. But the fact that that was the only way to complete map in this expansion was not clear, and was a source of great frustration. So much faster with Reaper. And actually probably would have been faster with Hammer, to be honest. I shouldn't have switched to Axes. Okay. And more bad guys. Oops.
They'll have to hit much harder.
So this is a little bit of a long instance, which, considering it can, this is a majority of the entire story for this release, is probably appropriate, but also kind of unfortunate that, I mean, like, it's both things at the same time, right? All right, lots of ads, and then these portals that we need to close. So this is a little bit like Amnitas, where they have the events where there are portals that you need to close, but there are also ads that impact your ability to close those portals. I would recommend, and what I plan to do here, if hopefully I won't mess this up and embarrass myself, is get a bunch of ads down, and kind of the remaining ones should end up being focused on your compatriots here. I don't know. So that there aren't, so that the numbers that you have to deal with coming out of being dead, coming out of the portal thing is pretty minimal. That so, like, if we sneak over here now, we might actually be able to close it. Ooh, no, looks like we got at least one focused on us. Get it? We got that one. All right. Because each one of these that we get down is going to reduce the consistency of the ads coming out. So we may be in a position, if we kind of go the long way here, to break a little bit of the aggro and kind of outrun them, come around and close the second one. Yeah, we should be good.
Time to do some real damage.
Now, there are a number of achievements throughout this instance as well.
Majesty, I fear we march to our end.
That bad?
Hundreds lie in wait. More, perhaps. is difficult to discern a rhyme.
I spoke true. A better opportunity to strike will never present itself. But that does not mean the odds are favorable.
We will turn this army to our side.
Hey, Majesty, surely not. I will follow you to my death. But you cannot believe, after all that's happened,
No, we will turn them to our side. There is no other way.
Okie dokie. Well, we'll see. So like these bookshelves, each of them, see, has something to offer there. I mean, whether or not it's worth reading is debatable, but so bookshelves throughout here, they're just similar type things all throughout this instance. That if you get all of them, that they're achievements to be unlocked. None of them matter to me. So the better an expansion is, the more invested I'm going to be on achievements like that. And given my thoughts on Secrets of the Obscure, like the idea that I would invest in those achievements is like pretty low. Especially since, you know, like on any alt account, I don't really worry about achievement points. When I was doing the 0 to 0 thing, on the second portion of that, I kind of had a tentative goal of like, hey, I want to get, which I think I've long since passed, like during my hiatus. I'd still play off and on, and yeah, 5,000 I think was the goal, and look, I'm well over that now. But that was just to create, a goal that, thus, like, it was to turn the treadmill on. To create a goal that then motivated me to pursue said goal, like the self-licking ice cream cone. The reality is, achievement points like don't do anything for you. There are some like skins associated with them, but the truth is that the skins don't really have much prestige associated with them. Like there's so many better looking skins in the game, so as a result, I don't think a majority of players care at all about achievement points. I think there is a subset of the player population that does care, and pursues as many of them as possible. I did when they were first introduced, so like the first year that achievement points were a thing. I very aggressively tried to get as many as possible. That was very early in, like that was, I don't remember if that was season 1 or season 2 when that happened. But yeah, it was a long time ago, and subsequently, or as time has passed, I have not been able to motivate myself to care much at all.
They'll have to hit much harder.
the heart of the obscure.
So why would the Heart of the Obscure just open this door? To come back to, earlier today when I was filming one of the other story videos, I mentioned the Heart of the Obscure just does everything. And here it is again. It opens doors.
Move decisively.
It probably programs televisions too. Oh.
Let's go.
Can we go?
No. We are fools.
Labrys's words. The strength to do that which the common kryptis will not.
There is no army.
There never was.
Countless innocents. First the battle below, now this. He has methodically weakened us while strengthening himself.
There is no depravity to which he will not stoop. I failed them. They should have been under our protection.
They would rest in honor under the Tree of Mourning if time allowed. Destroy them, then at least they can never be consumed. Wait. Wayfinder, can your Heart of the Obscure set free their essence peacefully? They deserve that much, at least.
Yes, they do.
Of course it can. Of course it can, because the Heart of Obscure can do everything. So why couldn't it? So it is exceptionally unclear what is happening here. They do a very poor job of packaging this. So, and I'm not 100% clear what we're meant to perceive here. I don't know why, like, these things are, these like brazier, like burning things are here, right? And it's the same thing that we've seen before when we went and like signaled for people to come listen to Patha. Like, that's the same thing, but and then we got these reliquaries. So these hold the souls of like all the people that Eparch devoured. And so when Nephis and Ramses and Patha were sensing like the number of kryptis in waiting and thinking it was an army, it's not an army. This is what it is. It's all these souls here, and so we're like setting them loose. So there's another achievement here. If you hold the heart closer to the reliquary, then you get like a memory from that particular soul, and then you can set the soul loose, which is there what we've done. Now that thing collapses, and now we've done a thing. Okay. And we can continue to do that. Contentedness. That's nice. So it's a storytelling mechanism. I don't know. This entire room could have been done a lot better because it's confusing. It's confusing, and I don't have a problem with the way this was packaged, aside from the heart just being able to do everything. Sickening realization. But it also, I think, is meant to serve the purpose. These little things here, resonant voices, safety, of like humanizing the kryptis, because the kryptis need that. There's nothing about them that feels human, so they're a very abstract, or alien thing to us, and thus it's hard for us to experience like the right feelings as the hero when we go about like saving them. But I don't know that it actually has that effect. I don't know that going through this.
Devour everything.
To the throne room. We are all that stands between Eparch and our extinction.
Yes. Okay. I don't know that it actually has that effect. I feel like a little bit. It has almost the opposite effect. It almost further alienates us from.
Time to do some real damage.
From the Kryptis. I don't know. I'm not sure I'm a huge fan. They did the best they could, and this isn't the worst single instance that they've ever made. That's my praise for. That's the best I can do in Secrets of the Obscure. Is that this isn't the worst instance they've ever made. Again, for clarity, I only came back and made more videos just in case, the Isle of Janthier thing. Janthier Wilds, if it's particularly good and I get excited about things again, then I want continuity in my storytelling series, or the story playthrough series. But this is not fun for me. Like, Secrets of the Obscure, I did not think was very good. The good news is, hey, eyeball, it's almost done. The eyeballs opening up as we go is kind of cool, I guess, watching us as we approach.
The throne room, Majesty. Are you prepared to face the
Guess how we're gonna get this door open.
That throne is mine. Wayfinder, open the way for the true Midnight King.
Oh, we're issuing commands already, are we?
And finally, she brings herself before the throne. I've been waiting, Princess of Traitors.
Gorging yourself while we cut our way through your defenses. Bold strategy, King. Was the Queen your strategist? Perhaps without Labrys.
Do not speak her name. sacrifice yourself to me, as you forced your queen to do.
But I am not so noble.
Labrys was right to refuse negotiations with you. You will kneel, or my generals will make you kneel. Your strength is mine, and my strength is the lifeblood of the kryptis. Speak your last words.
We'll throw your bones from Eventide's bridge. The kryptis will spit on your memory. Labrys sacrificed herself for nothing.
So it's easy to miss that. General Xanthron here and the other dead general, Alcaeus. So Eparch just consumed the essence of Alcaeus there, much to Xanthron's unhappiness. If you'll recall, in an earlier instance, there was talk about some twin generals. That's them. So he just watched his twin brother get consumed by Eparch. And that is, I mention all that because it is relevant later on as we move forward. If it were not relevant, I don't know that I would have, bothered, mentioning it. But so there he is, Dunzo, General Alcaeus, poor guy. So the room feels kind of a little bit empty relative. They did a good job of like framing in that little sequence there, and it, like the dialogue wasn't the worst they've ever had stuff, but doesn't the room feel kind of relatively empty? And maybe that's what they wanted, because they want to allow adequate space for us to fight Eparch. I don't know, but it's just my observation. Those waves like appear to be a little off sync from where they, there's where they appear to be, and then there's where they actually are, in terms of you as the player. And so sometimes you're gonna miss that jump. I mean, without practice, even though you feel like you're right on point with it, it's frustrating. All right. Man, get a little low on health here. So, getting low enough that that's gonna happen. So these drops of rage, drops of regret, etc. So this is something that is in the meta event as well. They give you a buff. Let's see, rage attunement, regret attunement, and I failed to fall back. There's actually an achievement for like not getting pulled in there, and again with the suspended thing. But yeah, so those little like glowing orbs, you pick them up to get buffs. With regret, with rage, gain 2% increased incoming and outgoing attack. So, attack stuff. Regret, decrease skill activation and recharge time, but take damage while using abilities. So I guess you either want to grab as many as possible, or alternatively, one might argue that because they come with debuffs, because they come with an exchange, you don't want them at all. I don't know. Okay, I'm talking over the dialogue.
A pointless gesture, but I welcome it. On the contrary, I couldn't pass up this chance to help end yours.
Feel the fury.
Alright, so basically Garen shows up and he's like, I'm here now, and Eparch's, or somebody else says to, actually, it's no, it is Eparch. Eparch kind of calls him out, and Isgarin, basically says that he's here to kill. But there is like Eparch kind of showing up at the last second, and that's going to be addressed more going forward here as to why he showed up at the last second. why that's relevant to them as a as a little group and whatnot. So now we have the added mechanic of teaming up with Eparch, like doing like a group attack with Patha and Eparch. Okay, so that big white circle there, yeah, nice. Once we're inside that, then we can do that group attack with everyone else. However, you gotta clear the ads first or it doesn't work, which I find weird. I mean, I understand they want you to clear the ads, but... Oh man, I'm really low on health. Ah! I'm playing really poorly today, which makes it a pretty normal day for me.
I could use a hand over here. We heal as one.
Ah.
Rejoining the fight. We heal as one. Pounded into dust. Feel the
Oh no, I forgot about that. So that pulls you in and also does like massive damage. Yep, not good times with that. And I completely forgot that it was a thing. It's alright. Story playthrough. Not a raid guide. Ooh, picked a bad time to come back.
I could outrun a centaur. Time to do some real damage.
And the great news is, with it being a story instance, like, I don't have to play well to, to succeed. I just have to wait long enough. I just have to be patient enough to kill him. So lucky me. Lucky me.
Feel the fury. I don't have enough energy. We heal as one. Feel the fury.
My kin, my blood. You have been deceived. Your brothers understood. Labrys understood. Kryptis, wanderer. All our kind are despised. For that which is our nature. We are predators. We must feed. If we do not pray, we court extinction. I see now
Very unclear what happens there as well, right? Are they going to start talking automatically? No? Okay, so what happens there is that she rejects him offering the strength and, like, kills him with laser power. But it would be very easy to mistake that as, like, her taking the power exactly as he said she should.
So it ends.
Oh, here we go.
And so the reign of...
You certainly took your time.
I am here now, when it matters. When your survival was all but assured, only then did you stick your neck out for our people. I risked nothing for your people. I risked exposure to rid our worlds of Epoch. And while I hope it proves worthwhile, the survival of the Kryptis people was not a requirement. Let's see that we do not stand on opposite sides of the battlefield one day, Seer.
General, gather the wounded. Iskaran, we are in your debt. I need time to set my house in order. I will contact you then.
Until then, Majesty.
It's time to go home. Wayfinder?
Patha.
Nios owes a great deal to you, Wayfinder.
Wayfinder.
I expect we'll see you in the Wizard's Tower soon. You're always welcome here, friend.
Your legend will walk our dreams for eternity. As will yours, Outrider.
Thank you, Ramses.
In the tower, then.
The Wizard's Tower will be ready to receive the Midnight King.
Alright, we're going to race Patha up to the top of the throne up here. For one reason and one reason only, and that's because there's another achievement here. And this one is actually entertaining. So if you recall, you could sit in Joko's seat in the Bone Palace or whatever it's called, and there's an achievement for that. And I think there are a couple other seats that are like other people's seats that you can sit in, and and it's an achievement. So I was pretty certain right away when I played this instance that there'd be a comparable achievement for her throne, and sure enough, that is the case. All right, we also got some folks we can talk to here. So Xanthron, Cephas, or Eparch ate your brother, bro. And he has nothing to say in response to that. All right, dead brother. Moving on. General Nephis. The king's subjects come to pay respects to Midnight King, attempting to keep what status they had with Eparch, no doubt. Already? Look around. There are many eyes in Zakharos. When your continued existence depends on reacting to a tyrant's whims, information is lifeblood. Will they fall in line? In the short term, yes. She's just demonstrated that she has the strength to overthrow the most powerful Kryptis in the history of Nios. In the long term, some will test her undoubtedly. I imagine her diplomatic skills will be tested, and our military strategy, if that fails. Will we see you in the Midnight Tower? In the Wizard's Tower? Midnight Tower sounds cooler, doesn't it? Will we see you in the Wizard's Tower? It seems likely, but that is up to Her Majesty. If not, it has been an honor, Wayfinder. Yes, honor. Very, very much so. Okay, so what he's talking about is if you just stand here and watch, like 4 or 5 different like processions come in and pay their respects to Patha up here by the throne, which is a cool touch, but I don't know, there's a lot of things they could have done with that effort that might have benefited the story a little bit more, but a nice touch, fun. And there's if you hang out for the entire thing, then there's an achievement for that as well, which we might get just from talking to people. Ramses. I must confess, much as I believed in Patha's cause, I never allowed myself to consider the aftermath of her victory. Will you come to Wizard's Tower? That is up to Lady, Her Majesty. I have a feeling we will meet again, but there is much to do here first. Well, change can be difficult. It seems a good problem to have, no? So, as I mentioned earlier, the Kryptis are like very unrelatable or not easy to humanize. In terms of dialogue and behavior, obviously Ramses is the easiest, and I'm sure that's by design. Patha, you got anything to say? It is done, friend. Word travels swiftly. There are many eyes in Zakharos. Yet the true work only just begins. There is much I must do before I next see you in the Wizard's Tower. Were you tempted? So it wasn't until this dialogue on my first playthrough that I actually understood she did not consume Eparch. Were you tempted to consume Eparch after all? Tempted to cast away a chance to end centuries of tyranny? To halt the loss of countless lives? To alter the fate of my people in exchange for power beyond comprehension? Perhaps, Wayfinder. Perhaps. So, I guess the one might perceive that bit of dialogue as the desire to consume was something that was passed on from ruler to ruler along with the power. And that by passing on the power that he was trying to get her to consume, she also passed on that bloodlust. But it seems, I don't know, that's kind of a tough sell to me. Perhaps don't mention that to Isgaren. Laughs. If Isgaren truly questioned the strength of my convictions, I find it highly unlikely any of us would still live. He is quite touchy. I look forward to riling him for centuries to come. All right. So yeah, I do like the dialogue where they call Isgaren out for barely showing up. Just at the very end there, and like the way he delivers that. I mostly like that. It makes, of course, and throughout much of Secrets of the Obscure, Isgaren has not been a particularly likable character. Mabone was more likable. He's of course gone. He had some sort of adversarial relationship with Isgaren at one point in time, and that passed. And so one might say, oh well, in light of that, like Isgaren then has like a, there is a certain quality to Isgaren that's likable, but we don't really see that. Isgaren's never really likable as we play through the story, at least not in my opinion. I suppose that would depend on what you consider likable, but I find him to be most of the time like very not likable. But that's reinforced even at the very end. He is what he is, and so we have one instance left because every expansion has to have like the wrap everything up instance, and that's what we're about to play through here. I say playthrough. It's watch. It's what we're about to watch. And even in this instance, like Isgaren is not particularly likable. I think he does have dialogue here since we just finished this. Oh no, maybe it's in the story instance where he has dialogue. But he's also standing like right there. All right, there we go. Arena, what's up?
Wayfinder, not a moment too soon. They're about to get into it.
You're not joining us? You know the situation as well as anyone.
Getting into the middle of that group? I'd rather face down Eparch again. No. I think I'll leave that to you. I just wanted to catch a glimpse of it myself.
Don't tarry too long, soldier. You're overdue for some leave. Welcome home.
Wayfinder.
That's probably a good way to end our interaction with Arena as like a relatively likable character within Sato. I still think it should be Sato. After it should be a soft O. It's of. It's an article. Is to not belabor the point. It's one of the areas where Arena, sometimes they really wear some of these characters out. Really.
Wayfinder, good. Let's delay this no longer.
No need to rush now.
Should we sit?
Galrath does so enjoy our presence here.
I've seen you lot in battle. We've got nothing to worry about.
What would you know of battle? You are not present for... Enough! We will not waste time with idle chatter. There is still much to be done in Nios.
Let us proceed then. Dagda, present the terms we've agreed upon.
The kryptis incursion into Tyria will cease immediately. No kryptis will enter Tyria again without direct invitation.
And any remaining loyalists who do, you're free to dispose of.
Additionally, the Astral Ward will maintain a presence in Nios until such time as it is deemed by us to be unnecessary. In return, amnesty will be granted to the Kryptis, and we will recognize Paitha as the legitimate sovereign of Nyos.
We accept your terms. Perhaps now there can finally be peace.
We must hope so. If this were to happen again, I promise you that it would not end in negotiations.
Your thoughts, Wayfinder?
All right, so we got some choices here. You can kind of take a hard line with the Kryptis, which would make a lot of sense if you were to take a step back and view the whole thing in its entirety, the length of the time that they were at odds, and the nature of the Kryptis incursions and everything. Except that we just spent the last 9 months like kicking it with Paitha, and everything we did was for the Kryptis, so that this then does not jive with that, even though this might be a logical, like if this were happening after the initial drop of Secrets of the Obscure, when we fought our way, we fought off the Kryptis, and we hadn't actually been in Nyos, but there's a chance for peace and friendship.
We've laid the foundation for a lasting peace and friendship here. Let's not waste that opportunity.
We will not.
There is also the other matter we discussed, Gareth. Do you accept?
I do. Ramses will have a place here as long as he pleases.
My lady.
Your affection for Tyrians is no secret, Ramses. And you have more than earned a place as our ambassador.
Thank you, my king. I will not let you down.
That leaves just one final thing. You, Wayfinder. While there are many who have fought alongside me, none have been more steadfast or capable.
I do want to thank you, Wayfinder. Your aid was clearly needed here.
As long as I live, your name will never be forgotten in Nyos. You have my eternal thanks.
Everybody, except Xanthron didn't salute us. He crossed his arms. Speaking of Xanthron, not a fan of the fact that Nephis and Xanthron have the exact same skin. I do wish that was not the case. Okay, I am not going. There are some achievements here. There's an achievement for looking at all the little things with the magnifying glasses, like we just did here. There's also achievements for talking to everybody, like Dagda here with the little thing overhead. I have no interest in like either one of those as part of a story playthrough. Absolutely none. However, and I'm not like the first one to make this observation. In fact, I did not complete the story for this last release, the one that we're completing right now, until like a week, 10 days or something after it released, because that was how little interest I had in it, to be quite frank. And there were just other things going on that I was more interested in. So I'd already heard, or already seen some videos from some content creators, and already heard some things about some of this stuff, and I agree with what was said, which is we hear right up there. All that dialogue was about like this tenuous agreement. It was very formal, ambassadors and military presence and all this nonsense. And this is, and even our dialogue options were like, oh, well, we'll see whether or not this lasts. And then we come right down here, and it's just typical ArenaNet, like, silliness, where, like, these kids are hanging out with Ritchik. And if we come way out here, like this, explore the Wizard's Tower, like this little magnifying glass, those two voice things, that is straight up, like, a swimming pool. Let's go over there. This is worth seeing because it's not good. And I know that may come off as, like, a little bit harsh, but I feel like it needs to be said. And this is an area where ArenaNet struggles, because they've always had like this like tongue-in-cheek like sense of humor about their own game, going all the way back to the first Guild Wars. It's always kind of a thing they've done, but it's never resonated with me, and I'm not sure that it's ever resonated with the majority of their players. And like, here we go. Like, Kryptis gonna try out like the diving board. We can talk to him. Eek, are you going to dive? It's a long way down. Still thinking, why do this? Is scary? Is fun? That doesn't jive with the entire thing. Oh well, the violence has been resolved. Like we don't have, this is what their freedom looks like. Is it? Swimming pools? Like there's another one around here somewhere. Maybe it's over here. Where like this dude's trying to teach him to paint, and they're like making like these dark paintings. Oop! I accidentally shot fire all over their paintings. There we go. So like that's what they're coming up with, and this guy's like the Astral Ward artist is those brushstrokes quite aggressive and all. Like it just and I would love to say, to kind of wrap up Soto here, a lot of the things that don't feel good about Soto, I'd love to say that they're going to fix some of that with, now that they have more time for mini expansions. Everyone keeps talking about it. Well, now they'll have their systems down and stuff. But, and Muckluck does a good job of addressing this. And I really appreciate the way he said it. And it, these days he is by far, my favorite person to watch or listen to. Usually it's listening to on my drive home. When it comes to Guild Wars 2, one of the things he said is, well, they should have their systems down, and so they'll be more efficient with the next one, with Janthier Wilds or whatever comes after that. But that doesn't necessarily mean it will change the quality of what they do, because what ArenaNet does is what ArenaNet does. Like they do certain things, and I don't think they're going to stop doing that. It's kind of what he hinted at after talking about the efficiencies thing. And this is the kind of thing, the swimming pool thing, the artist thing, the inconsistency between our happy scene here and what was taking place minutes ago up on the floor above. That's not going to get fixed regardless of efficiencies, because it's just who ArenaNet is. It just is. And unfortunately, here's the bottom line when it comes to Secrets of the Obscure. When mini X-Packs were announced, and I mentioned this just a couple videos ago when I got started on finishing this story. When mini X-Packs were announced, I said it sounds an awful lot like we're going to be paying for Icebrood Saga. And throughout Secrets of the Obscure, I expressed both concerns that it was going to look like Icebrood Saga and unhappiness with the fact that it was looking a lot like Icebrood Saga. Now that it's complete, at best, Icebrood Saga is the best comparison we can draw. It is the most flattering comparison we can draw. Because if anything, it might have ended up worse than Icebrood Saga. And that pattern is not going to change for Janthier Wilds. I think, is that what it's called? Janthier Wilds? Whatever the next one's called, it's not going to change for that. It's not going to change for the one after it. And it's not going to change for the one after that. Particularly because it's proven to be a profitable model for them. And I'm glad it's a profitable model. During my hiatus, I did try other games. I just couldn't get into anything else. I'm about to log out and play some Cyberpunk, and I'm looking forward to that. But I wasn't able to get into another MMO. So I guess I'm going to continue to be a Guild Wars 2 player. But I'm probably not going to buy Janthier Wilds for more than one account at a time. And I may ultimately not buy it for a number of accounts. And I guess that still means they get more money from me than most players if I buy it for 2 or 3 accounts. But my daughter's completely quit playing the game. I'm not going to buy it for her account because I know what I'm going to get now, and it's at most worth $25 for the basic. It is only worth the $50 or $75 for the bigger packages if you really, really love the game. If you're a huge fan, by all means pay that. But in terms of what you're getting $25 worth of content at best. Don't buy more than the baseline package. That's the bottom line. This is cool. This is beautiful. Like, the things they do well, they're still doing well. And that should be clear. Like, this is fantastic to look at. Super cool and exciting. And the initial launch, this map, pretty good. But at the end of the day, 25 if you love the game, 50. But unless you really want to give them the money, I don't know that you pay the 75. I mean, you do you. I understand the difference between 50 and 75 is is just 50% off on gyms. I get that. I'm not stupid. Which is why I say buy the 25. But I don't know. You do you. We've wrapped up with Secrets of the Obscure story. I'll probably pick the story thing up again with more regularity. If Janthir Wilds is good, if it's more of Secrets of the Obscure, maybe I'll just stop it altogether. We'll see. What a negative note to end the video on. But that's how I'm going to end it. So, bye.